If they only call you when they need something, if they clap for you in public but doubt you in private, then listen carefully. As Theodore Roosevelt warned, it's not the critic who counts, it's the one in the arena. And today, you'll discover who truly values you, and who never did. Some people will stand beside you only when the sun is shining. The moment clouds gather, they quietly step back, pretending they were never close. As Theodore Roosevelt once believed, character is revealed not in comfort, but in challenge. The people who do not value you often disappear when you need them the most. They celebrate your victories publicly but avoid your struggles privately. They speak to you when they are bored, but ignore you when you are busy building your dreams. They expect your time as if it belongs to them, yet treat your presence as optional. They laugh at your ambition because it makes them uncomfortable. They mock your discipline because it exposes their excuses. A person who doesn't value you will constantly remind you of your mistakes but rarely acknowledge your growth. They will highlight your flaws and overlook your strengths. They will demand loyalty but offer convenience. They will measure your worth based on what you can give them today, not who you are becoming tomorrow. Some will interrupt you mid-sentence, not because they are excited, but because they believe their voice matters more than yours. They dismiss your ideas without thinking, yet borrow your thoughts later and present them as their own. They call it coincidence, you call it disrespect. People who don't value you often keep you close enough to use, but far enough to never fully support. They enjoy your energy but refuse to invest theirs. They want access to your wisdom but won't give you credit. They benefit from your kindness but complain about your boundaries. Roosevelt taught that self-respect is the foundation of leadership. When someone does not value you, they test how much disrespect you are willing to tolerate. If you accept crumbs, they will never offer bread. If you silence yourself, they will grow louder. They will only remember you when they need something. A favor, advice, a connection, a shoulder. But when you need encouragement, they suddenly become busy. Their messages grow short. Their tone grows cold. You'll notice they rarely celebrate your milestones. Instead, they change the subject. They minimize your effort. They say things like, "It's not a big deal," or, "Anyone could do that." But deep down, they feel threatened by your progress. A person who doesn't value you will compare you to others to make you feel smaller. They'll say you should be more like someone else. They will hold unrealistic expectations for you while giving themselves endless excuses. They gossip about you in rooms you're not in. They smile in your presence and question your worth in your absence. They use sarcasm disguised as humor. They call it jokes, but the sting lingers. When you set boundaries, they accuse you of changing. When you demand respect, they call you arrogant. When you focus on your growth, they say you've become distant. But what truly changed is your tolerance for being undervalued. Roosevelt believed in the strenuous life, a life of effort, discipline, and courage. People who don't value you fear that kind of strength. They prefer comfort over courage. They prefer complaining over competing. They prefer criticizing over creating. They rarely apologize sincerely. Even when wrong, they twist the narrative. They shift blame. They say, "You misunderstood." They avoid accountability because admitting fault would require humility. They will test your patience repeatedly. They'll cancel plans last minute. They'll keep you waiting without explanation. They treat your time as flexible and theirs as precious. A person who doesn't value you will never fully listen. They hear words but not meaning. They respond to reply, not to understand. Conversations with them feel like competitions, not connections. Sometimes, the most painful sign is indifference. Not anger. Not hatred. Just indifference. As if your presence or absence makes no difference. They may praise you publicly but compete with you privately. They clap for you on stage and criticize you backstage. Their support feels conditional, dependent on how small you stay. People who don't value you often downplay your struggles. They say you're overreacting. They tell you to be strong, without offering strength. They dismiss your emotions because they don't want to deal with depth. They will rarely defend you in a room full of critics. Silence becomes their shield. They protect their image instead of your dignity. Roosevelt emphasized courage. Courage is not only fighting wars, it is walking away from disrespect. It is recognizing when your loyalty is being exploited. It is understanding that respect is not requested, it is required. A person who does not value you will resist your growth. When you improve yourself, they grow distant. When you outgrow their comfort zone, they feel exposed. They expect you to be available at their convenience. If you say no, they react with guilt tactics. They make you feel selfish for prioritizing your peace. They rarely invest in your dreams. They'll watch from a distance. They'll analyze. They'll critique. But they won't contribute. Sometimes they keep score. They count what they've done for you, but forget what you've done for them. Generosity becomes a transaction in their mind. They make promises they don't intend to keep. Words come easy, actions come rarely. You notice a pattern. Enthusiasm in speech, absence in effort. A person who doesn't value you will rarely celebrate your boundaries. They see limits as threats. They prefer you unlimited, accessible, and silent. They will test how much disrespect you'll accept by small behaviors first. A dismissive comment. A delayed response. A subtle insult. If you ignore it, the pattern grows. Roosevelt believed in dignity. Dignity is choosing environments that nourish you. Dignity is not begging to be heard. Dignity is not shrinking to fit someone else's insecurity. They might attempt to control the narrative about you. They exaggerate your weaknesses. They minimize your impact. They create stories that justify their lack of support. When conflict arises, they avoid direct communication. Instead, they involve others. They build alliances quietly. They create distance instead of dialogue. They rarely ask how you feel unless it benefits them. Your inner world is irrelevant to them unless it affects their comfort. A person who doesn't value you may compliment you, but only in ways that limit you. You're good at this, but not that. You're smart, but too ambitious. The compliment always comes with a ceiling. They resist acknowledging your authority. They challenge your decisions unnecessarily. They act as if your confidence is arrogance. Roosevelt once spoke about the man in the arena, the one who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again. People who don't value you are often those who sit in the stands, criticizing the dust on your clothes while never stepping into the arena themselves. They may try to keep you dependent. They offer help that comes with conditions. They remind you of what you owe them. They prefer imbalance over equality. They feel uncomfortable when you receive praise. Their body language shifts. Their energy changes. Support becomes silent. A person who doesn't value you will rarely say thank you sincerely. Gratitude feels forced. Appreciation feels temporary. They assume you will always be there. They believe your loyalty is permanent, no matter how they behave. They forget that even the most patient heart has limits. They treat your dreams as hobbies. They treat their dreams as missions. They laugh at your goals while obsessing over their own. Roosevelt valued effort and courage. He believed in boldness. When someone doesn't value you, they attempt to make you doubt your boldness. They whisper insecurity into your ear until you question your own potential. But the truth is simple. People who don't value you reveal more about themselves than about you. Their behavior reflects their fears, their insecurities, their limitations. The greatest lesson is not to change yourself to earn respect. It is to recognize where respect does not exist. When you stop over-explaining, they feel confused. When you stop chasing, they feel the distance. When you stop tolerating, they feel the loss. Roosevelt's philosophy teaches that strength begins with self-respect. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, the solution is not louder arguments, it is quieter exits. Some people will only value you once you are gone. They will realize your absence where your presence was once overlooked. Your worth does not decrease because someone fails to see it. The sun does not dim because someone closes their eyes. People who don't value you may attempt to return when they need you again. They may act familiar. They may speak sweetly. But patterns rarely change without intention. True respect feels consistent. It does not fluctuate with convenience. It does not disappear in private. It does not require performance. As Roosevelt's life demonstrated through leadership and resilience, strength is quiet confidence. And quiet confidence does not beg to be valued, it simply walks away from those who refuse to see it.